Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We're going to do a totally different sort of video today. So in case you're new here, normally I share videos about grocery shopping and meal planning and feeding your family on a budget and all things frugal living. But today's video doesn't really have to do with any of those topics. But I know that a lot of people who follow my channel are moms like me. And so I was thinking the other day just of some things that have made my life easier. Just some simple things that I do that I feel like I've learned over the past few years of being a mom. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do a video about that just for fun. So I'm a mom of 5 kids. My oldest is 10 years old. My youngest is turning 2 this week. So I've been a mom. I guess I feel like I'm like a somewhat experienced mom because I have 5 kids. I've been a mom for 10 years. Then also my oldest is only 10. So I know I have a long way to go and a whole lot more to learn. But I have learned some things that have helped me. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. So the first thing that I do that I have found really helpful is giving my youngest a morning quiet time. So when my babies transition out of that morning nap, it's usually around like 15 to 18 months old when they kind of don't need it anymore. Instead of just like completely dropping that time, I like to transition them into having a morning quiet time. It's still in their crib because I find that like if I try to have them out with us, like, I don't know, like in a playpen type deal or something, they're just not going to be happy because they want to be out and with me. But if I put them in their crib away in their room with some books and some happy things, then they just have a good old time. So Danny, he's my almost 2-year-old. Every day around 10, he starts asking for his apple, and because he knows that's what I give him. Every day around 10, he has an apple, either a whole apple or I cut it up for him. He gets a little cup and I put the slices in, and then he runs on into the bedroom. I get him in his crib. I get him some books that he's not going to tear up, so like board books, and a little toy or two, and he is happy. He'll be in there for at least a half an hour, a lot of times like 45 minutes, just chilling, happy. I think honestly he probably enjoys having a little bit of like alone, unbothered time, and he loves having his apple. I know that's not for everyone. Like everyone doesn't always like the idea of giving their kids food in their crib. So, you know, that's take it or leave it. But for my kids, it's like, oh yay, I get to have my apple snack and I get to have some quiet reading time, and they like it. And it's just what they're used to. So anyways, that is super helpful for me, especially because I homeschool. So I can use that time where the toddler is like safely occupied to do things like group learning time. A lot of times I do my read alouds during that time, and it's just really helpful. And it's just kind of like a little break from the toddler, and he's happy. So it's a win-win. Okay, secondly, another thing that I've started doing this year with my kids is doing it's kind of similar to what I'm doing for the toddler, but we do a little quiet learning time for the rest of us. I don't do it every single day, but a lot of days what we will do is after we've already done some school, and you could do this whether you homeschool or not, but once we've already done some school, we'll all gather together and I will tell the kids to all choose a learning book. So I like to go to the library and get different biography picture books or some graphic novels that are like about historical figures, or books about the ocean or volcanoes, or, you know, like different interesting science facts. So we pretty much always have books like that from the library. So the kids will all choose something. They could also choose like a reader that they're going through. And I will set the timer just for 15 minutes. And I will grab a book for myself too, like a parenting book I'm reading through or whatever. And we will just all read silently for 15 minutes. And it's awesome. I really enjoy it. And the kids enjoy it too, because they're choosing what they want to learn about. And then when the timer goes off, we take turns all saying one thing that we learned, or a couple things that we learned. My 4-year-old, he usually just kind of does his own thing. I let him play around or whatever, but the rest of us all do it. And of course the toddler's in his bed. So it works really well. We don't do it every single day, but when we do, it's always just like a refreshing quiet time. And I enjoy getting to read my learning book too. Next is grocery pickup. You guys know I like doing grocery pickup, and seriously, I've been doing it ever since like 2019 pretty regularly, and it's wonderful. Like it saves me a lot of time. I can plan out everything that I need, add it all to my cart ahead of time, you know, on the grocery app, and then we just go pick it up. It's great and it's free. If I order delivery, then I would have to pay for it, so I don't usually do that. I just do the pickup. And it saves me so much time. I really like it. And yeah, sometimes I get produce that's a little weird looking, or occasionally they'll forget an item or whatever. But in general, I feel like the benefits will totally outweigh those little mistakes and stuff. So definitely recommend grocery pickup. Another lifesaver for me this year is getting up before my kids. Yes, my oldest is 10, and it's taken me until this year to do this consistently. So It's definitely been a struggle to get here. It's hard for me to get up early. And yeah, I feel like that has been a struggle for me as long as I've had kids, really, because, you know, you're up with them in the night or whatever. And it's like, I deserve to sleep in as long as I possibly can. But this year, I started off the year sending accountability texts to one of my friends every single morning of the weekday. The weekends I can get up whenever. But I would send her an accountability text at 6 a.m. every day telling her I was up. And we did that for 3 months, all the way January through March. I would text her like every weekday. And that just got me onto the habit. And so now I'm not texting anymore, but I'm getting up every day at 6. And now that I've set that habit, I would feel so behind if I didn't get up early, because we don't let our kids come out till like 7. Usually they can play in their room quietly before then, but they're out and about for sure by 7. So then I have a quiet hour to start on some of my computer work, or to exercise, to read my Bible, to get dressed, whatever I have decided to do. And it just helps me to start the day not already feeling behind. Speaking of exercising in the morning, I have not always been the best at taking the time to exercise, but the one thing that has made a huge difference for me this year is getting a walking pad. I will link the one that I have. It's the only one I've ever had, so I don't know how it compares to other ones, honestly, but it can slide right under my bed. So all I have to do is pull it out in the morning, and I will just walk on that while I read my Bible, while I've edited videos on my phone while I'm walking. So I can totally multitask on it, and it just gets me steps, because I try to get at least 7,000 steps a day. And that just helps me so much. I just love it. We had a treadmill, but it was in the garage. And so sometimes the weather would be like, it was way too hot or too cold or whatever, right? At least I made that excuse. And so it was hard to get out there and do it. But having that walking pad, like, I've been using it every single day, and I really love it. And it's helping me to get my steps in. Every day at 4 o'clock or right around there, we have a cleanup time. This is a lifesaver for me because as a homeschool family, we are home pretty much all day, every day. And so the house can kind of just explode. So even though I try to clean up throughout the day, it is really helpful to know that every day at 4 p.m., that's when we're going to clean up. I'll stop the kids from whatever they're doing and say, okay, guys, it's cleanup time. And we will get things cleaned up before supper. Having that set time helps with the kids just having that expectation. I mean, that doesn't mean that they will never grumble. Trust me. Like, they don't love stopping what they're doing and cleaning up, but it does help that there's kind of that expectation that every day before supper time, it's cleanup time. So that definitely helps with, the shock and horror that they would sometimes have when it's cleanup time. Going right along with that regular cleanup time is doing the dishes every night. Now, you've probably heard this from pretty much everyone, but it took me a while after we got married and we started having kids, it took me a while to really get into a good habit of doing that. I think at first, because we didn't have a ton of dishes, I was like, oh, I'll get to them in the morning or whatever. But then, of course, the more kids we had, the more dishes would really pile up. And I finally realized, like, I just need to get into a better habit, because otherwise, if you leave your dishes till the morning, you are just starting out the day behind, and it's discouraging to come out to a messy kitchen. It's embarrassing that it took me a while to faithfully do this, but now, like, I can pretty truthfully say I never go to bed without having cleaned the kitchen. Now, sometimes I'll leave a pot in the sink or whatever. Like, it's not always perfect, but I've always run the dishwasher and gotten the majority of things washed and put away. And it's so nice. I'm very grateful for that habit. I do need to get better about having my kids help me wash dishes and stuff. A lot of times I just don't mind doing it after dinner myself, because it's kind of like relaxing. While Pablo is playing with the kids or whatever, I'll just do them. So I do need to get better at having them help me. But just having that habit in place has been extremely helpful for me, so that I'm not starting the next day feeling behind. Last tip is something I've been doing with my kids lately to reward their good behavior, and that is a penny reward system. Now, I heard about this from, I can't remember what her name is, someone I follow on Instagram. I'll put her name here when I remember. But I don't know if I do it exactly the same way as her anyways, but I have a little cup for my 4 older kids, not the toddler yet. But when I notice something like, I ask them to do their chores and they jump up from playing or whatever and say, okay, and they do it right away cheerfully, I might say, okay, go get yourself a penny. And they can stick a penny in their cup. Then on Saturdays, usually Saturdays or maybe Sunday, just sometime on the weekend, I will pull out a special stash that I have, and we will have what we call penny sale. And the kids can use those pennies that they earned during the week to buy different little things, like a little piece of candy, these little fun little erasers I have that you can kind of take apart, little stickers, sometimes little Matchbox cars, just different things. Even my 10-year-old enjoys it, and he likes getting his pennies too. So a couple reasons why it's been helpful. First of all, just for me, it's forcing me to pay more attention for the good behavior, because, as a parent, it's easy to just like notice the stuff you want to correct. And sometimes you forget to praise the good behavior. So it helps me to kind of watch out for things more and then be able to reward them with that penny, and that's fun. And it does motivate the kids. Like, I have seen a marked difference when we are doing this, that obviously you don't want your kids to just perform for a penny, but it does help them to kind of stop and think, ooh, how am I going to react, because I really want to get my penny. So anyways, for us, it has been a good thing. We had done it, I want to say like a year ago or something, and then I had kind of gotten away from it, but we restarted it this last month, and I can definitely tell that it's been helpful. So it's definitely something that we're going to keep doing. So those are just a few things that kind of came to my mind when I was thinking about this topic, some things that are saving my life as a mom, or things that are just making my life easier. So I would love to know, what are some things that make your life easier as a mom? Definitely let me know in the comments, because I would love to learn from your experience too. Also, let me know if this kind of content is interesting to you, and let me know if you would rather that I just stick to the frugal living, the grocery and meal planning content. It's totally fine if you want to tell me that too. I would just love to know your thoughts. But as always, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you again soon in my next video. Bye.